And you mentioned dropping the mask, and that's kind of what we're talking about today. Hey there, welcome back to the Glow Up Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Megan Winkler, and I'm super glad you're here. I've got a really fun episode for you, so I'm not going to take up too much time here at the front, but I am going to say my guest is just so full of energy, and she has such wisdom for anyone who is wanting to create a personal brand for themselves. So even if you're not a business owner, I really encourage you to listen to the episode in its entirety, to the interview coming up, because I think you're really going to get a lot of goodness from Rachel. And it's just a really fun conversation to listen to. On top of that, I just want to give a little shout out to everybody who reached out to me after last week's episode. I'm doing much better. That's the beauty of the work that I have done long-term in the burnout prevention and recovery space, is that when I hit it, I absolutely know how to fix it for myself very quickly. So I had a lovely weekend. All of my clients are just absolutely amazing. I got so many messages from you, from listeners, from just people online, making sure I was okay. Thank you so much. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go back to last week's episode and listen to my most recent burnout journey and what I did to fix it. So without further ado, I am going to send you right over to the interview that I had with Rachel Lee. Again, you are going to love it. So without further ado, let's jump into it. I am so excited to have my business friend, Rachel Lee, on the podcast. Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Megan, it's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for those of you listening, Rachel is an artist. She's a designer, really cool person, personal brand stylist, Photoshop queen, which she can get into a little bit on her website. There's a funny little note about doctor's notes in high school, so we can talk about that.
Oh no, my shady past.
I know. Who just brings like personality and just life to everything she does. And we met, I guess several months ago, and then I was in one of her branding workshops, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have you on the pod. So here we are.
Yeah, here we are. Oh man. So many stories to share, but thank you for that introduction. It's always weird when I hear people introducing me. I'm like, oh yeah, like I am those things. Like maybe I should hire you to introduce me when I do like speaking things. I'm humbled.
I love that. Of course. Oh my gosh. No, I love kind of giving a little introduction from my point of view and how I know you, but I would love if you would kind of introduce yourself to everybody so they can get to know you.
Yeah. Absolutely. I am a nerd. I have to say that before anything else. Growing up, I was the art kid who was always doodling on my homework and my exam papers. My head was definitely in the clouds. I was either reading a book. My favorite books growing up was like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. I was like a huge fantasy nerd. And then eventually going into gaming and all of the things that weren't necessarily popular hobbies growing up, but those were the things that made me happy. And so going into the professional space, I was very hard pressed to find a space that fit me, because naturally I was the weird and nerdy kid. I like to have fun with my work. I like to make things cool, cute, pretty, interesting, everything that isn't boring. And so I found myself in a hard position when I went into the world of business, realizing, oh, everything's so serious. Like, I don't know if I like it here. And instead of doing the thing that is conforming, I've tried, I swear I tried, and it didn't work. I ended up going the opposite route with starting up a branding agency that is all about owning your weird. And you will see it plastered all over the website. So that's a little intro about me, but I'm excited to chat more as we go into this conversation.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I I am so addicted to your Instagram post and like your stories because I love just really cool brands and you are able to, I don't even know how you do it. You're able to like extricate just really subtle, cool things from the people you work with. And then it shows up in unsubtle, artistic, creative, fun, energizing ways on the screen. And it's just so freaking cool.
Oh, thank you.
Of
I like
course.
to say that, like, my clients are the ones who come with the secret sauce. I'm
Mhm.
not in the business of fabricating anything. So I
Yeah.
always tell people everything that you see once we work on your brand, that's actually you. All I did was just turn up the volume a little louder on just some aspects so then it's more apparent when people
Mhm.
meet you online. Once they see your profile, they see like a certain type of styling or they catch certain vibes. That's all intentional, but none of it is fake. And I do
Yeah.
have to give that as a disclaimer because there's a lot of people who come to me looking for help with their brands and they don't really have a good handle on their story. They don't know
Mhm.
what special things they bring to the table, and it makes it hard for me to work with that because I am only interested in helping you amplify those cool and quirky and exciting things, not in the business of creating a mask that you hide behind just to get business. That's totally not my memo. That might
Yeah.
work for some people, but it doesn't vibe with me.
Yeah. And I think it's really obvious because like it's like you have a style in your business and your branding, but then your clients' branding is all their own.
Yeah.
And you mentioned dropping the mask, and that's kind of what we're talking about today. So,
Yes.
if you're listening and you don't own a business, stick around because we're talking about dropping masks, we're talking about alignment, we're talking about personal branding. And I firmly believe, and I'm sure you do as well, that personal branding is not something that is just exclusive to business owners.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like to tell people that whether you like it or not, you have a personal brand. And I have to take a step back and explain when I say personal brand, I don't mean like the number of followers you have on your Instagram or how rich and famous you are or what people see when they search you up on Google. I mean the precedents that you set as a human being for how people think of you and what they can expect from you just as a person. So this
Yeah.
is more just about how what do people know you for? Even if you're just a regular everyday person, what's the impression that people have when they think of you? What do they know about you? Is that even accurate, right? Like those are the things that we're talking about and is relevant. If you are putting yourself out there, not even online, in real life, you've got friends, you've got family, you have people who know you. Guess what? You do have a personal brand. It's basically just what people's impression is of you.
I love that. I think that's probably the best definition I've ever heard of personal brand, quite honestly. So
Oh, thank you.
I
I hope
love
it
that.
makes sense though. It's a very different way of thinking that I think people don't really understand. When people hear the word branding, even their brain goes into a corner where they think about logos and marketing. But when we speak about personal branding, it's more about the bigger picture of how we present ourselves as people, which is a conversation that's very relevant to anybody here on this planet.
Yeah, I agree completely. So for business owners and even non-business owners, maybe corporate girlies who are like trying to get their personal brand going, that sort of thing. What happens when you see people kind of operating outside of an alignment with who they really are, like trying to put that mask on?
Well, I mean, on the outside, sometimes people can't really tell. Like, some people are really good at acting, and sometimes, and I've been in this position myself before, where when you wear this mask, sometimes you keep it on for so long that it feels like it's stuck. It's like this automatic
Yeah.
default pathway that your brain runs along. The moment you see somebody, anybody, you an instant mask on and then you show up a certain way. And
Sure.
it's weird because it is acting, but you're so familiar with showing up that way that it feels natural. But deep deep down, and this is where the test is, when the cameras are off, when it's just you by yourself in your PJs on the couch watching Netflix, in your most comfortable, safe, and relaxed state, who are you? Right? Is that actually you? Is that the same person, or are you secret relieved that, like, oh, thank God I don't have to do that thing anymore, right? Like what are those thoughts and feelings that come up when you're in that space? And if there is this feeling of relief of like, oh, thank God I could finally relax, I don't I don't have to like do that other thing anymore, you know that there's a little bit of a misalignment. And even also speaking from experience, even if you're really good at acting and just showing up, everything's like to a T when you show up in front of the camera or in front of other people. Over time, as people come to know you, they're gonna notice that there's these weird little discrepancies. And I feel like even though we do our best to try to control the narrative of what people see, just as much as people, they read between the lines when they see what you have online. They'll see all the stuff you put out, and then they're still gonna be left questioning, well, what about the other stuff? I never see you posting about it. I never see you talking about it. Like, what's going on there? And what isn't explicitly stated, people are always gonna fill in the gaps with their own narratives. It's just human nature, right? We like to make up stories when we talk to people, and it's like, oh, like, well, I don't know anything about their family life, but based on what I know about them, we instantly, our brain just seeks to fill in the gaps. And from experience, I feel like it's always better to be ahead of the curve and be like, hey, you know what? Everything on the table. Here's me, here's work, here's life, here's everything. Leave nothing up to assumption. And that way you're in full control of the narrative because people see everything. Nothing is left up to assumption. And then that way the expectations are set right from like the get-go. And that's like a very personal approach for me when I approach personal branding. But I personally believe that that's a better way of going about it than leaving things in the air and letting people just do their guesswork.
Oh, that's a really good point. That's very cool. So I'd love to hear a little bit. Well, first of all, because you're drinking from your water bottle, can you share your little rabbit mascot with us, please?
Oh, yes. So I have this, my rabbit mascot over everything. The sticker, I have this little keychain. The cute rabbit mascot, his name is Kazu, and he is the chief chaos officer of my agency. Growing up as a kid, I always loved to make characters, and so no surprises, I ended up adopting that skill and embedding it into my business, where I feel that having a character that captures the energy of a brand is something that's so powerful, and it's something that's really cool to implement for companies as well as people. Like, we are our own character. And so Kazu, when we first conceptualized him, he was meant to embody the spirit of what our brand is, our brand being called Neogenesis. Neogenesis, it basically means new beginnings. And it's this whole play on words and the idea of when you create a brand, you get to decide who you want to be. And it can be a fresh start if you're looking to become a new and better version of you. Not hiding, but actually becoming. And so Kazu, he's this cute little rabbit who's super angry and super freaking violent, and he will do everything for carrots. And I think we're at the point of, we're still developing his character, but between me and my business partner, we low-key joke, we're like, carrots as in like the vegetable carrot, or carrot as in like gold carrot? Like, is he like a money hungry bunny, or is he just like a cute hungry bunny? So we get to have fun, where we believe that there's so much benefit in allowing yourself to play, create a character, allowing yourself to play and create a character for yourself, step into it, take it for a spin. But we love Kazu because he captures the two dualities of our business really well, where it's like, he's so cute and soft and fluffy, but he will freaking murder you if you take his carrots, right? Like we love playing with dualities, and we love turning up the volume on equal sides, so then that creates depth in a brand, and it really pulls you in just because it's not so straightforward.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think that that's like the perfect example of what we were kind of talking about, where we're, bringing this alignment in. We're bringing authenticity to the conversations we're having online, in person, you know, as business owners, as human beings, as everything in between. And I've often tell people both here on the podcast and just in person, or when I'm having a meeting with a client, I'm like, authenticity doesn't mean you have to share everything about your life. You're really looking at that alignment, though, between what you're saying, what you're doing, how you're presenting, all of that. And I have definitely worked with folks before where they have kind of the beige girl aesthetic in their branding, and then you meet them in real life and they are just vivacious and colorful and they wear all of these cool clothes. And it's like, these two things don't match up. Have you encountered this a lot in your experience?
Absolutely. And I often find that I just use the term vanilla. The vanilla feel that we often see, it's often in the professional space because when we work at companies, there's a certain standard that they set. And in order for you to not get fired, you kind of have to fall into that standard.
You do.
You're representing the company, right? And so I often find that's often in the professional space because our jobs and our livelihoods are on the line if we don't show up a certain way, which can be soul crushing when deep down inside you're like, I'm a wild child. Like, this is so highly suppressive, but in order to pay my bills, I have to show up a certain way. And I get it. I know that nobody wants to live their life like that, but some people find themselves in a really tough position where in order to be able to put bread on the table at the end of the day, you have to show up a certain way at a job in order to make ends meet. So it's hard. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
That's true.
Like just to show up fully. It's hard. But that is a reality that I want to acknowledge.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And I think that's just emblematic of your heart-centered approach on everything. Like, you get where people are coming from. And I think a lot of times I used to be a corporate girly myself. And it's like you just kind of like kept a lot of that inside. I was in the tech world, so there's a lot of blue.
Oh, yes.
You
see blue.
you kind of do. It's like blue, maybe a pop of orange. You know, it's very like sans serif here. Then it's like when I stepped out to do my own thing, like I was just very much in that like blue aesthetic of like, okay, this is what professionalism means. And I think it's really interesting to have conversations with folks about, you know, what is like a corporate professionalism for some corporations, not even all of them, but for some corporations, that's what that's like. When you're a business owner, this is your opportunity to stand out from the crowd. And it's like, you don't want like IBM or FedEx branding if you're like a consultant, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it goes down to really understanding who you are and what your vibe actually is just as a person, right? Like when you meet somebody, you can instantly, after like a few minutes of talking, you can get a pretty good capture of what the feeling is. And I feel like it's really important that whatever branding you end up constructing for yourself, that it's a good capture of that same feeling, but just communicated tactfully and strategically through visuals. So your choice in color, your choice in fonts, your choice in how you style your photos or graphics, those need to reflect the same energy that people experience when they're actually interacting with you as a person. And it can get pretty complicated because I know most people are not designers to know, okay, well, what color is my color, right? What captures my energy? That's where it can get a little tricky, but it is important. Once you know what's on the inside, that solves 50% of most of the decision making right there.
Nice. And no shade to those who are into the more subtle or subdued colors, because if you're coming across, one of my past clients was like very grounded and very Virgo and had all of these very subtle subdued colors, but that's how she was in every space. So it made total sense. So, you know, I love it. And it's like, oh, I immediately recognize that as her brand, because that's just who she is and how she is.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to tell clients that, like, even your brand is not supposed to look like mine. Not every brand has to be bold and flashy and edgy and fun.
Yeah.
If that's not your thing, like, that's not your thing. And the most important part is know what you've got, really own it, and just put it out there, because a brand is really just meant to support the experience you're creating for people. It's not meant to overpower or persuade. It's just meant to support. And I have to remind people that I'm like, you are still your brand. You're responsible for being the key ambassador and to carry that vibe and energy. Everything that people see online, it's just meant to support that, but it cannot replace it. That is very, very critical to understand.
Oh, that's like the best word of wisdom for branding. It's there to support. That's fabulous. That's awesome. Well, I want to switch gears just a little bit and kind of wrap up our conversation with some rapid fire questions. And then I would love for you to share the amazing resource that you have on your site to help people kind of get into that branding mode and all of that if they're interested. So you game?
I'm game. Fire away.
Awesome. Okay, so the first question is, what does glowing up mean to you right now?
Glowing up for me means becoming a better version of myself and that is a little better than what I was yesterday. And it could come in many different ways, shapes, or forms. Doesn't have to be visual. It could just be being a little bit happier with what I have, working a little harder on improving that one skill that I'm trying to improve in. Just a little better every day, in my opinion. That totally counts as a glow up.
Ah, yes. Loving it. Loving it so much. All right. So what's it doesn't have to be a glow up song or a go-to song, excuse me, when you need a vibe shift? Like, what's one of your favorite songs to vibe shift?
Oh, that's such a hard question. Oh, I feel like I've been really into a lot of Taylor Swift songs. Even though
Nice.
I would not count myself as such a hardcore fan. Some of my friends are like hardcore Swifties, but I find myself really enjoying how she's leaning into a little bit more of that edge. She used to be like, oh, happy country girl, like innocent, like, love story and like all of those. I like how she's leaning into a little bit more of that bite and edge in her music. And so I know a lot of people have things to say about her newest album. I personally, from an artistic perspective, I really appreciate and really like how she's just low key, like happy, sunny, but also low-key throwing shade at some things that just need to be spoken towards. Like, I personally am really enjoying it right now.
Nice. Love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So coffee, tea, or something stronger when you've got to lock in and get to creating?
I wish I could say coffee, but coffee does not agree with my stomach.
Oh,
And
no.
I've tried. My whole family loves coffee. I've tried to get onto the bandwagon. I spend hours on the toilet afterwards.
That's
so I
awful.
would have
Not worth it.
it is so sad. I love the smell of coffee, but my stomach doesn't agree with it. So tea, specifically, I like black tea, like orange pico, steeped and then with a hell of a lot of cream. So it's basically like a
nice.
latte, but with a little bit of that tea taste. I'm weird where I like to drink my stuff with a lot of cream in it.
I love that. My my husband kind of goes through phases where sometimes it's like, well, that's just basically a latte. It's cool. And then other times it's black. So, very cool. All right. All right. Okay. So when you need to either let loose or just relax, what's a go-to activity for you?
As a social introvert, my go-to way of recharging is I've got this like really big fuzzy panda robe that I wear on my potato days. I instantly take off anything that is tight or uncomfortable. I like to say I go into panda mode, so I like envelope myself in this big fuzzy thing. I like lie on the couch and then I cuddle with my cat.
Oh,
I
love it.
Everything fuzzy and cozy and like not people related because I spend most of my day peopling. So I'm just like, introvert, we're going in. Fuzzy cocoon.
I love it. I love it. Yes.
Yep.
All right. So last question is, what's something that's currently on your vision board or your bucket list?
Oh, I mean,
Right?
I could say it's on my vision board, but it's going to be actualized pretty soon. Where I've had my eye on the digital nomad life for a very long time, and I've been
Yes.
stationary for a very long time. But in December, which is literally next month, I'm going to be getting onto a plane and I'm flying off to Thailand. I'm going to be away for quite a little bit. 5 weeks in the grand scheme of things. It's not as long as I would prefer, but it's to prepare myself for the bigger picture of wanting to experience different places, live in different countries, experience the culture, and just get more inspiration for what it is that I want to create, what I create for other people. What you consume is what supports your output, and so I'm like itching to see and experience more so that it could support and inform more of what I end
Yes.
up creating for people, for the world, for myself as well. But very soon, yes, I'm going to be in
Oh my
Thailand
gosh.
and just starting my digital nomad journey.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Congratulations.
Yes.
I'm so
Thank
excited
you.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tell everybody where they can find you online and definitely share about your free gift on your site.
Absolutely. So I mostly hang out on Instagram. That I like to tell people that's my first home on the internet. Second home, I am also on LinkedIn. That's where I talk more about business stuff. My handle should be the same on both of them. It's Rachel T.Y. Lee. So feel free to stalk. Stalking is welcome. And in terms of those of you who are just getting started out with your branding, and because there's a lot of pieces, you're just stuck in overwhelm right now and you don't know what to do, I have this amazing resource called the BrandStart Checklist that you can actually get straight from my website. And it's literally this 7-page checklist that helps you walk through the different pieces that you need to actually form the bigger picture of your brand. Just, so just to know what to consider, reduce the overwhelm, and then get a rough roadmap of what order should you work on first so that you're actually building the pyramid the right way up instead of the opposite way, which, trust me,
Right.
a lot of people do. So feel free to snag a copy of that checklist for yourself. Kazu is also has an appearance in there as well. So if you want to see a little bit of Kazu, you're going to get a good dose of him in that checklist as well.
Most excellent. Well, I'll have all of those links in the show notes, so be sure to click there. Rachel, thank you so much. This has been a blast.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Aw, thanks so much. All right, we'll have to do it again sometime.
Yes, part two, right?
Yes! The recap, the sequel.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much for tuning in, for watching, whether you're watching here on YouTube or Patreon, or if you're just listening on your favorite podcast app. I'm so grateful that you are here. I hope you really enjoyed the conversation. Like I said in the interview, I will have all of those links in the show notes. So they'll be like right below this episode on whatever platform you're on. So you can check out Rachel, grab that resource, and dive into your own personal branding journey and just finding that alignment within and without. Again, thank you so much for listening. If you would like to support my work, I do have a Patreon for this podcast, and memberships start at $3 a month. You can also join for free and just come and hang out. I just appreciate you so much, and I appreciate the fact that I can support this podcast and the work that I do each month without having to run ads on it. So thanks again. You can find that at patreon.com. It's the Glow Up Circle. So come on into the circle. I'd love to have you. As always, if you need anything, please reach out to me. hello@meganwinkler.com. And you can always see all of my services on meganwinkler.com. And come hang out with me on Instagram at It's Megan Winkler. Cannot wait to get to know you better. And if I know you well already, thank you so much for tuning in. Love you all. Y'all are amazing. Have a great rest of your week and chat with you soon. Bye.